She's pregnant. You have to step aside and let us be. Grayson stood in the center of the living room, righteous and loud. My mother-in-law sat on the sofa, looking at me. Chloe is gentler than you. You should thank her for taking care of my son in your place. I stared at the two of them. 5 years of marriage. I laughed. All right. I turned, walked into the bedroom, and came out with a manila envelope. The divorce petition has been ready for a while. Grayson froze. Before we go on, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Grayson stared at the envelope in my hand, his face draining of color. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? I set the envelope on the coffee table. You want a divorce? I agree. My mother-in-law jumped up. Serena, what kind of attitude is this? My son is talking to you nicely, nicely? I cut her off. He cheats, knocks up his mistress, and tells me to step aside, and you call that nicely? You, Mom, stop. Grayson blocked her, looking at me. Serena, calm down. I know I've wronged you, but Chloe's pregnant. I can't abandon her. I stared at him. This face, 5 years I'd looked at it. Once I thought choosing him was the best decision I'd ever make. How long have you been cheating? I asked. Grayson was silent for a few seconds. A little over a year. A little over a year? I laughed. Grayson, you think I'm stupid? What do you mean? June 2021, the company gala. First time you took her to a room at the Hampton Inn on the East Side. I held his gaze. 3 years. His face went chalk white. How do you know? I know a lot more. My mother-in-law cut in, so what if you know? Men stray now and then. Can't you be a bigger person? Bigger? I turned to her. You want me to be bigger? Fine, let me ask, do you know how much your son has spent on that woman these 3 years? She blinked. How much? $47,000. I kept my eyes on her. 127. Wire transfers, 500 at the low end, 5 grand at the top. 3 years, 47 grand. The living room fell silent for several beats. Grayson's fists clenched. You investigated me? Investigated you? I let out a short laugh. Grayson, the card you wired the money from is the one I set up for online banking. Every transfer triggered an alert. You, 47 grand, I cut in. In 3 years you handed me 300 a month for living expenses. To her, 47,000. To me, 10,800 total. I looked at him. 47 grand versus 1. And you ask me to be bigger? His face flushed crimson. My mother-in-law opened her mouth, but no words came. I lifted the envelope from the table. Here's the petition, asset split included. Read it, if it's fine we'll hit the county clerk's office tomorrow. Grayson didn't take it. Serena, don't do this. His tone softened. I know I screwed up, but we've been married 5 years. Can't you give me one more chance? A chance? I can cut Chloe off, Grayson said. The baby, we can end it. I stared at him. 3 years. 3 years of cheating, 47 grand funneled to his mistress. And now we can end it? Grayson, do you know what I hate most about you? What? You still think everything bends to your will. I shoved the envelope into his hand. When you cheated you thought I'd never find out. When I found out you thought I'd forgive you. Now you think saying end it makes it go away. I locked eyes with him. You're wrong. This time, you don't get to decide. Grayson clutched the envelope, face ashen. My mother-in-law finally snapped, Serena, what are you implying? Divorce if you want, but forget taking a penny from the Whitman family. Excuse me? The house is my son's, the car is my son's. Walk away with nothing. I looked at her. 5 years. I'd heard versions of this line countless times. My husband bought the house? I smiled. Then tell me, who put up the $60,000 down payment? She froze. Mom and Dad. I watched her. 2019, 60 grand down payment from my parents. You didn't know? That was their gift to you newlyweds. Gift? I cut in. Your family took an $8,800 betrothal gift. The 60 grand came with a promissory note. A note? Her voice cracked. What note? A note is a note. I stood. Black ink on white paper. My parents loaned Grayson and me 60 grand for the house. 5 grand a year, 10 years. In 5 years we haven't repaid a cent. That's between you kids, exactly, between us. But in a divorce the 60 grand becomes debt. Grayson owes his half, 30 grand. Her face went bloodless. Grayson's hand shook around the envelope. Serena, you're trying to ruin me. Ruin you? I picked up my purse. You cheated, you lavished 47 grand on your mistress, you told me to walk away with nothing, and now I'm ruining you? I reached the door and glanced back. Review the petition. Issues, call my lawyer. You hired a lawyer? My mother-in-law shrieked. An outsider like you, what do you need a lawyer for? I ignored her. Oh, and Grayson, your little Chloe, the receptionist, 24, graduated last year? His pupils shrank. Double-check that pregnancy. Make sure the kid is yours. She'd already terminated 2 before she met you. I shut the door. His roar echoed inside. Out in the hallway I pulled out my phone and I messaged Olivia, start the clock. Olivia was my college roommate and best friend. The night 3 years ago when I first learned Grayson was cheating, she was the first person I called. She'd just passed the bar and was clerking at a firm. What do? I asked. Don't spook him, she said. Gather evidence. 3 years. Evidence piled for 3 years. Wire logs, chat screenshots, hotel invoices, intimate photos, every item triplicate, phone, flash drive, safe deposit box. Olivia's mantra, in divorce court, evidence is oxygen. Today, the wait ended. Next morning I took a half day and went to her office. So? How'd they take it? She handed me coffee. My dear mother-in-law wants me to walk away with nothing. Saw that coming. Olivia grinned. Your move? Divorce, I said. But not with nothing. Good. She opened her laptop. Let's map the assets. House, bought 2019, price 1.8 million, 60 grand from your folks, loan 1.2. Whose name on the deed? Mine. Solo? Solo. Olivia raised a brow. How? Dad's non-negotiable condition, his money, my name. Grayson balked. Dad said no deed, no sale. Grayson caved. Your father saw the storm before you did. He didn't see, he never trusted Grayson. I insisted on marrying, so he left me a lifeboat in the paperwork. Olivia nodded. Loan payments? 8 grand a month, 5 years, 48 grand paid, all from my account. All you? Grayson claimed his salary covered day-to-day, so the mortgage hit my card. Reality, 300 a month living expense money from him, the rest to Chloe. She tapped a calculator. Market value now about 2.2 million. Down payment equity, 60 from your parents, loan principal you paid 48. Grayson's contribution, 0. Right, 0, she said. But legally the appreciation on marital payments is split 50-50, unless. Unless we have proof of adultery and fraudulent transfer of community funds, 47 grand. Under the civil code the at-fault party may receive little or nothing. So the house, he gets zip. She drummed the desk. And he owes you the 47 he siphoned off. I nodded. Car? Premarital, in my name, 18 grand, untouchable. Joint savings? Gone. The 47 we'd saved is the 47 he wired to her. Want it back? I thought. No. Why? Olivia, you know what? 3 years ago I wanted to stab him. Then I realized every dollar he pushed out the door was the price of his exit. 47,000 to buy my freedom from a 5-year lie, cheap. Olivia stewed eye. Me and finally exhaled. Serena, you've changed. Yeah, I said. 5 years of fraud changes a person. That afternoon I was back at my desk when my phone buzzed, my mother-in-law. Serena, where are you? Come home, now. What for? For that joke of a petition you gave Grayson. House to you, car to you, plus he owes you 30 grand? Dream on. It's my parents' money. What do you mean? When you bought the place your parents said it was a gift. Gift? I laughed. There's a promissory note in black and white, never mentions gift. You, Mom, I cut in, talked to Grayson. He's the respondent, I'm just the drafter. I hung up. The colleague beside me shot me a look. Serena, you okay? I'm fine. Family trouble? Yeah. Divorce. The colleague froze. You and Grayson? Yep. Why? You two always seemed solid. He cheated, I said. For 3 years straight. My coworker's mouth opened, but no words came. I went back to staring at my spreadsheet. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Grayson. Serena, where are you? Let's talk face to face. Talk about what? The divorce petition, he said, voice low. Your terms are absurd. Absurd? I laughed. Grayson, Mom and Dad paid the down payment, I paid every mortgage installment, and the deed is in my name. You cheated for 3 years and wired 47 grand to her. Now you call my terms absurd? That 47 grand is money I earned, anything earned after the wedding is marital property, I cut in. Don't you know the law? Silence on his end for several seconds. Serena, I get that you hate me. But you don't want this to turn ugly, do you? Ugly? I said. Grayson, did ugly cross your mind while you were screwing her? When you got her pregnant? When you asked me to step aside so the two of you could play house? Listen, you didn't, I said. So don't you dare lecture me about ugly now. Serena, you've read the petition, right? I said. Agree, and we hit the county clerk's office tomorrow. Fight me and we meet at the courthouse. I hung up. My fingers trembled. 3 years. Every wire transfer alert, every flirty message, every hotel receipt, I'd saved them all, wondering when I could finally stop the bleeding. Now the moment had arrived. That night the house was empty. Grayson hadn't come home, and my mother-in-law had probably stormed off in a huff. I sat alone in the living room, staring at the hollow space. Mom and Dad had covered the down payment. I'd covered every loan payment. 5 years. I'd turned a raw shell into a home, tile by tile, wall by wall. What had those 5 years given me? A husband who couldn't keep his pants on. A mother-in-law who championed the mistress. And a $47,000 hole in our savings. I laughed. Serena, you were an idiot. My phone rang. Mom. Serena, Dad says you're divorcing Grayson? Yeah. What happened? Did his mother push you too far? No, I said. He cheated. A pause. Cheated? Mom's tone shifted. With who? The bank's front desk girl. 8 years younger. When did you find out? 3 years ago. 3 years? Mom's voice shot up. You hid this from us the whole time? I wanted to handle it myself. Handle it? Serena, how could you be so naive? You should have told us the instant you knew. And what could you do? I said. You couldn't divorce him for me. We could have stood by you. Do you know how worried we've been? I know, I said. But I wasn't ready. And now? Now I'm ready, I said. Evidence is boxed up, lawyer hired. He walks away with nothing. Silence stretched on. Serena. Mom's voice softened. You've suffered. I'm okay, I said. It'll be over soon. That woman, was the pregnancy rumor true? No idea, I said. Doesn't matter. How can it not matter? Mom, baby, or no baby, none of it concerns me anymore, I said. My marriage to Grayson is finished. I set the phone down and lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling. 5 years. What had I been doing? Paying the mortgage for a chia. Playing obedient daughter-in-law to a woman who despised me, propping up a marriage that had flatlined long ago. What was the point? My phone buzzed again. A WhatsApp from Grayson. Serena, one last time, can we adjust the petition? I typed 2 letters, no. He fired back instantly, then we'll see each other in court. I smiled. Court? Perfect. I've got receipts. Sure enough, Grayson skipped the county clerk's office the next morning. He called to say he'd hired counsel and wanted the formal route. Fine by me, I said. He added that we should split the household stuff so he could move out. No need, I said. Just pack and leave. I bought everything anyway. He hung up without another word. That afternoon my mother-in-law showed up. She stood in the doorway. Serena, you're really divorcing Grayson? Absolutely. Do you understand you'll walk away with nothing? Nothing? I laughed. Tell me, exactly what will I be missing? The house belongs to Grayson, down payment from my parents, mortgage from my paycheck, deed in my name. I cut her off. Anything else? She faltered. Well, the car, bought before the wedding, 18 grand, title solely mine. Color drained from her face. Serena, what are you implying? When Grayson married you, he honored you. Honored me? I laughed. 3 years cheating, 47 grand funneled to his mistress, and a plea that I step aside out of generosity, that's honor? That's between them, then why are you camped on my doorstep? She opened her mouth, but no sound emerged. Mom, I said, though the word tasted bitter, I called you that for 5 years. In that time did you ever treat me like a daughter-in-law? Of course you didn't. I shook my head. Every visit, you nitpicked, dinner too bland, laundry not white enough, floor not shiny enough. When I miscarried you said, better the first one goes, odds are it's a girl anyway. Her face went chalk white. You knew about Grayson's affair long before I confronted him, didn't you? No idea, really? I laughed. Then how do you know Chloe is sweet? How do you know she takes better care of Grayson than I ever did? Her lips parted, fish-like. You didn't just know. You covered for him. Last New Year he said he had to work late. He flew Chloe to San Diego, and you booked the suite. He insisted, so you enabled him, I snapped. Did it ever occur to you how I might feel? She had no comeback. Mom, I said, stay out of your son's mess. Divorce is between Grayson and me. Keep meddling and I'll forward every receipt to Dad and Mom. You're threatening me? Call it a friendly reminder. I shut the door. Her curses echoed from the hallway. I didn't care. Grayson wanted litigation? Bring it on. Evidence was stacked sky high. That evening Olivia came over. Everything catalogued? Complete. I handed her a flash drive. 3 years of wire transfers, chat screenshots, hotel folios, photos, everything. She plugged it in. 127 wires, 368 screenshots, 89 hotel stays, 47 photos. She looked up. How on earth did you collect this? Bank text alerts, screenshot the second they arrived. Chats lifted off his phone, he never changed his passcode. Hotels took a PI. Photos. Explain the photos. He came home drunk one night, left his phone on the coffee table. I found a hidden album, 47 selfies of him and Chloe. Olivia studied me. How did you survive those 3 years, day by day? I gave a thin smile. Each night I waited for him, counting how much he'd sent her that day. Every weekend he claimed overtime, I knew he was in her bed. Whenever he touched me I wondered if he'd just left her arms. 3 years, I said. I lived in hell. Olivia was quiet for a long beat. And now? Now? I gazed out the window. Now it's almost over. What if he refuses to sign? He'll sign, I said. Right now he thinks he still has cards. Once he sees the deck is empty, he'll beg for the X. When do you show him? In open court. I grinned. I want the judge to watch his face while he learns the last 5 years were a total loss. Olivia shook her head slowly. You've changed, Serena. Change for the better or worse? Tougher, she said. And I like it. That night I slept like the dead. First real rest in 3 years, because the nightmare was nearly over. Grayson went radio silent the following week. He moved in with Chloe. My mother-in-law called non-stop. I let it ring. At the office, news of the divorce circulated. A colleague asked what happened. I said, he cheated. No one pried further. Adultery is conversation cyanide. Friday after close, Olivia phoned. Grayson lawyered up. Who'd he hire? Richard Lowe, Midtown firm. Any good? Decent. Handles asset grab divorces. And we have? Receipts, Olivia said. No lawyer can now bill evidence. Court date? Next Wednesday. They requested mediation first. If that implodes we go straight to trial. Mediation? I laughed. He still thinks he can bargain? He'll try to squeeze concessions. Concessions? I said. Not a penny, not a pillow. Didn't think so, Olivia said. See you Wednesday. I hung up and stood at the window, watching the city lights flicker on. 5 years. 5 years, and how had Grayson and I ended up here? We met in college, he chased me for 2 years. After graduation he said he wanted to marry me. Dad didn't approve at first. He said Grayson was too slick, not the steady type you build a life with. But I wouldn't listen. I believed he loved me, believed he would treat me well. When we married, Dad insisted the deed carry only my name. He said, Serena, it's not that I don't trust Grayson. But the world is full of surprises. This house is our life savings. Put it in your name so, if anything ever happens, you won't have to walk away with nothing. I thought Dad was being petty. Looking back, I'm grateful he held his ground. The first year of marriage Grayson was good tea. Oh me. The second year he started working late all the time. The third year, 2021, I discovered the affair. One night, after he'd fallen asleep, a message lit his phone. Hubby, missing you, from someone called Chloe. My universe imploded. My first instinct was to confront him. I swallowed it. I called Olivia. She said, don't spook him. Gather evidence. So I gathered, for 3 years. Every morning I opened his banking app, scrolled through their chats, watched him siphon our savings to her, one wire at a time. Countless times I almost snapped. I bit my tongue every time. Because I knew that if I confronted him empty-handed he would erase everything and twist the story, claim I was hysterical. I'd seen that movie before. So I waited. Waited until the evidence towered. Waited until the timing was perfect. Waited until he'd painted himself into a corner. Now he had finally arrived, the mistress pregnant, demanding I step aside. He thought that would be the straw that broke me. He had no idea it was the opening I'd waited 3 years for. Wednesday morning, mediation. Olivia and I reached the courthouse 30 minutes early. Grayson and his attorney Jean Janguo were already there. So was Eleanor. She came too. Serena, Grayson stood when he saw me. Can we talk in private? Anything you need to say can be said in the mediation room. He glanced at his lawyer. Some things aren't appropriate, nothing's inappropriate. I cut him off. Whatever happened between us, I'm not ashamed for anyone to hear. Are you? Color drained from his face. We took our seats. The mediator was a woman in her 50s, Judge Liu. She invited each side to state its position. Grayson's lawyer began, my client seeks divorce and division of the following assets. First, one marital residence valued at approximately $2.2 million. Second, one automobile worth about $15,000. Third, joint savings. My client requests equal division. Judge Liu looked at me. Vance, your response? Oh. Livia rose. Your Honor, we agree to divorce, but not to Whitman's proposed distribution. On what grounds? First, the house. Olivia opened her laptop. Purchased in 2019 for $1.8 million. Down payment of $600,000 was a gift from my client's parents, documented by promissory notes and wire transfers. Mortgage of $1.2 million, over 5 years $480,000 has been repaid, every dollar debited from my client's salary account, bank records verify. Title stands solely in my client's name. Grayson's jaw twitched. Second, the car. Olivia continued, bought in 2018, before marriage. Purchase invoice, insurance policy, and registration all name my client as sole owner. It is separate property, not subject to division. Grayson's counsel frowned. Lastly, savings. Olivia said, 5 years of marriage accumulated roughly $470,000. That $470,000 has been transferred by Whitman to the third party, Chloe. We hold complete records, 127 wires. She slid a stack of documents to Judge Liu. Under Civil Code Section 1087, a spouse who diverts, conceals, or squanders marital assets may receive a reduced share or none. Whitman committed adultery and funneled marital funds to his mistress, clear fault. Accordingly, we ask that he walk away with nothing. A hush fell over the room. Grayson went white. His attorney flipped through the exhibits, complexion darkening. Where did these transfer logs come from? Grayson demanded. SMS alerts from the bank, I said. Every time you moved money, I kept the record. You were spying on me? Not spying, I said. Preserving evidence. Eleanor finally exploded. Serena, what is this? Gathering dirt, what are you trying to pull? Trying to pull? I met her gaze. I'm reclaiming what's mine. Yours, she shrieked. My son bought, your son paid 0 down payment, 0 mortgage, the deed is in my name, I interrupted. How exactly did he buy it? Mom, enough. Grayson cut her off, staring at me. Serena, you. Were you really doing this? What did you expect? I asked. You cheated for 3 years, I endured. You wired out $470K, I stayed silent. You got your mistress pregnant, told me to step aside, and now you're shocked I'm divorcing you? But you can't leave me with nothing, can't I? I laughed. You put nothing into the house, 0. I paid every cent of the mortgage, the deed bears my name. What does it have to do with you? Only because you insisted on having your name, because Dad insisted, I cut in. Thank heavens he did. Grayson's ears burned crimson. His lawyer tugged his sleeve, signaling restraint. Judge Liu tapped her gavel. Let's calm down. Whitman, do you dispute Vance's evidence? Grayson's counsel cleared his throat. Your Honor, we will need time to authenticate these materials. Granted, Judge John said. But I caution Whitman, if verified, the law allows a reduced award for the at-fault party. Vance's petition stands on solid ground. Grayson looked even paler. Your Honor, could we, his lawyer started. Mediation is adjourned, Judge Liu announced, rising. Both sides will reflect. Same time next week. If we can't settle, we proceed to trial. Outside the courthouse Grayson caught up. Serena, wait. I stopped. Can we talk? What's left to say? Serena. His voice softened. I know I screwed up. But you can't do this. If I walk away with nothing, how am I supposed to live? How you're supposed to live? I laughed. When you cheated, did you wonder how I'd live? When you wired out $470K, did you think about how we'd live? When you knocked up your mistress, did you worry how this family would live? You didn't, I said. So don't expect me to worry now. Serena, Grayson. I looked him in the eye. Every choice has a price. You chose adultery, the price was our marriage. You chose to steal $470K, the price is your share of the assets. You chose to get her pregnant, the price is walking away with nothing. I turned toward Olivia's car. All of it was why? Our own doing, I said over my shoulder. Blame no one else. The next few days Grayson called nonstop. I let every call roll to voicemail. Then he sent Eleanor. She stood outside my front door all afternoon. I never opened it. Finally he had his mother phone Mom, asking for a sit-down between families. Mom replied, nothing to discuss. He cheats, he walks away empty-handed, end of story. Eleanor protested. We paid part of the down payment, Mom said. How much? The $88,000 dowry? That was a gift, not a down payment. The $600,000 down came from us, every cent. Want the house? Wire me back the $600,000 first. Eleanor slammed the receiver down. Friday, an unexpected visitor showed up at my office. Chloe. She waited by the entrance. Sis Serena, she called when I appeared. Can we talk? I studied her. 24, pretty, no question. Younger, brighter than me. What's to discuss? I know you hate me, she said. But I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Grayson, he said you two were long over, just roommates, so? So. I only followed my heart. Your heart? I laughed. Your heart told you to break up a marriage? Your heart told you to spend the $470K he stole? Your heart told you to get pregnant and push me out? I didn't what? I cut in. Chloe, you're 24. You've already had 2 abortions, now a 3rd pregnancy. Are you even sure this baby is Grayson's? Her face froze. How do you know? I know plenty. I said. Think Grayson is some prince? Before you there was another woman. Part of that $470K was hush money for her. You're lying, am I? I held up my phone, showing a chat screenshot. Year 2020, Grayson texted a woman named Emma for 6 months. Then it ended, and he moved on to you. Chloe went white. You assumed you were the only one? I said. Chloe, you're just one option on his menu. Today he cheats with you, tomorrow he'll cheat on you. He loves me, she whispered. Does he? I laughed. Then ask him why he's dodged you all week, why his attorney told him to stay away, why he's too scared to see you even though you're carrying his child. Chloe stood frozen. Because he's scared, I said. He's scared I'll come after that $47,000. If I do, he'll have to claw it back from you. The favor he owes you turns into a debt. You, Chloe. I looked her in the eye. What exactly do you want? Grayson? The house? Money? Let me save you the suspense. Grayson has no house, no car, and no money left. The deed's in my name, the car's in my name, and the savings were spent by you. Even if you marry him, what would you actually get? Tears slid down Chloe's cheeks. I just want a family. A family? I said. Then you picked the wrong man. I turned and walked away. After a few steps I stopped and glanced back. Oh, right. I smiled. About the baby, you'd better get a DNA test. Grayson, he. I let the sentence hang, still smiling. Chloe stood rooted to the spot, face bloodless. That night Olivia called. Serena, what did you say to Chloe today? Why? She phoned Grayson howling for a breakup. The guy's practically foaming at the mouth. Is that so? I laughed. Sounds like music to my ears. What exactly did you tell her? I told her Grayson had cheated before she came along. Then I suggested she double-check the baby's DNA. The baby's DNA? Olivia hesitated. You think it's not his? No idea, I said. But Grayson's jumpy. How do you know he's jumpy? She's 2 months pregnant and he still hasn't taken her to pre-register at an OB. If he were sure the kid was his he'd have booked the first ultrasound weeks ago. Olivia was quiet for a few beats. Serena, when did you get this lethal? I was forced into it, I said. Forced by Grayson. So what if she really dumps him? All the better, I said. Then Grayson ends up with nothing, no true love, no money, no house, no wife, absolutely zero. You're aiming for total wipeout? I'm not the one wiping him out, I said. He chose the scorched earth route himself. I hung up and stood at the window, staring into the night. 3 years. For 3 years I'd pictured this day. I'd imagined Grayson on his knees begging forgiveness. I'd imagined Chloe tossed aside like old wrapping paper. I'd imagined my mother-in-law pleading for leniency. But now that the moment had arrived, I didn't feel the rush I'd expected. I just felt drained. Utterly, bone-deep drained. The phone buzzed. Grayson. Serena, he croaked. What poison did you feed Chloe? The truth. Which truth? That you cheated before her, and that the baby she's carrying might not be yours. Silence crackled across the line. Grayson, I said, when you decided to cheat, did you ever imagine today? Serena, when you wired away 47 grand, did you foresee this? When you told me to step aside so you two could be happy, did you picture this ending? Serena, enough, he finally exploded. You're determined to drive me into the grave? Drive you into the grave? I gave a soft laugh. I'm merely letting you live with the choices you made. You call that a death sentence? You backed me into this corner. I made you cheat? I said. I forced you to funnel money to your mistress? I told you to get her pregnant? You, Grayson, you've never once believed you were wrong. You cheat, because I'm not gentle enough. You transfer money, because you earned it. You knock her up, because you're taking responsibility. You're always right, it's always someone else's fault. But this time you miscalculated. You were wrong, and wrong has a price. I ended the call. My fingers trembled. But I didn't regret a word. Not one syllable. The day before the second mediation, Chloe showed up again. This time she cornered me at Riverside General. I'd taken Mom for her annual physical. Somehow Chloe found out and waited by the entrance. Serena, she blocked my path. Please, don't go through with the divorce. I studied her. She looked worse He. Han before, sallow skin, purple crescents under her eyes, the kind of exhaustion that seeps inward. What did you say? Please, she whispered, I know I was wrong to barge into your marriage. But could you leave me away to survive? Leave you away? I gave a thin smile. Chloe, did Grayson send you here to beg? She flinched. He asked you to sweet-talk me, right? Tell me to let the 47,000 go, to play nice? Tears spilled again. Serena, I do love Grayson. I realize my mistake, but I don't want to lose him. You don't want to lose him? I cut in. Then why threaten to break up? I wasn't thinking straight, not thinking straight? I said. Chloe, you weren't confused. You were terrified. Terrified of what? That the baby isn't Grayson's. I held her gaze. Terrified of a DNA test. Terrified of the truth. Color drained from her face. Serena, you're twisting things. Twisting? I arched an eyebrow. You're 2 months pregnant and you still haven't dared to pre-register or book an ultrasound. Why? Because you're scared of the answer. I'm not, you are. I kept my voice level. Before Grayson, you were seeing someone else, your department manager, wasn't it? Panic flickered in her eyes. Serena, please, stop. I can stop, I said, but first you need to tell me, whose baby is it? Chloe's shoulders shook. Tears came faster. I don't know, she finally whispered. Maybe Grayson's, maybe the other man's? She nodded. I exhaled a small, humorless laugh. Chloe, do you know why Grayson agreed to marry you? Because he loves me, because you got pregnant. I cut her off. It's not love, it's obligation. Had you not conceived, he'd have kept you as a side dish forever but never promoted you to wife. How could you possibly? His previous mistress tried the same tactic, I said. Positive test, ultimatum for marriage. Grayson refused, she terminated and walked. Then he replaced her with you. Chloe's lips quivered, white as paper. Serena, Chloe, I said, you're 24. Your life is still a blank slate. Figure out what you actually want. If it's Grayson you're after, I guarantee he'll make you miserable. Today he cheats with you, tomorrow he'll cheat on you. Leopards don't change their spots. If it's the baby you want, get the test. If it's Grayson's, make him own it. If it's not. I paused. If it's not, ask yourself whether you want to chain yourself to a lie. Chloe remained frozen, tears streaming. Serena. Her voice cracked. Why are you telling me all this? Because I don't think you're rotten yet, I said. Just stupid. I turned and walked toward the sliding doors. Her sobs echoed behind me. I didn't look back. Mom was waiting just inside. Serena, who was that girl? No one, I said. Just someone who lost her way. Second mediation day, Grayson didn't show. His attorney claimed sudden illness. Judge Liu waited 30 minutes, declared the session a failure, and bumped us straight into litigation. Trial date, 2 weeks out. On the courthouse steps Olivia slanted me a look. Serena, any guess why Grayson bailed? Not a clue. My money says he couldn't face us, she said. Chloe served him the DNA papers. Showed him what? The baby isn't his, Olivia said. Results came back yesterday. Father is the manager, not Grayson. I blinked. She actually went through with the test? Yep. Procedure yesterday, lab courier overnight. Grayson's name is officially off the paternity line. I absorbed that for a moment. Then what? Thermonuclear breakup, Olivia said. Grayson stormed her apartment, cops had to escort him out. And the baby? Terminated this morning, she said. Procedure finished at 10. I stood on the plaza watching streams of litigants flow up and down the steps. 3 years. For 3 years Grayson had screwed around, siphoned cash, celebrated impending fatherhood. He thought he held 4 aces. He thought I'd fold without a fight. He thought he could he wife, mistress, and future heir under one big, happy roof. He never imagined the child wasn't his. Never imagined the deed and title were mine alone. Never imagined every sleazy move was another shovelful of dirt over his own coffin. Serena, Olivia said, now that lightning struck Chloe, are you still going for the full scorched earth settlement? Absolutely, I replied. Nothing he did gets erased because his mistress's baby came back someone else's DNA. But he's already lost everything, his choices, his bill, I cut in. He elected to cheat, elected to wire cash, elected to trust a 24-year-old receptionist with his future. Choices collect interest, I said, and payment just came due. 2 weeks later, opening gavel. This time Grayson appeared. Gaunt, hollow-eyed, stubble thick enough to cast shadows. He opened his mouth when he saw me, but no sound came. Inside, the hearing ran like clockwork. Our exhibits were ironclad: wire transfers, chat logs, hotel receipts, time-stamped photos, each a nail. His counsel objected twice, both objections collapsed. Final ruling: dissolution of marriage granted, Serena versus Grayson. Premises located at XXX Road, Unit XXX, revert in full to Serena, Grayson relinquishes all claim. Vehicle registered solely to Serena confirmed as separate premarital property, excluded from equitable distribution. Grayson's unauthorized transfer of $470,000 in marital assets to a third party constitutes gross misconduct. Debt assigned solely to Grayson, Serena held harmless. 5. The $600,000 down payment my parents wired us is documented by a promissory note. It is joint marital debt, and Grayson will be ordered to repay $300,000 of it. The gavel falls. I look at Grayson. He sits at the defendant's table, motionless, an emptied-out shell. Outside the courthouse he catches up. Serena. I stop. You won, he says. The house is yours, the car is yours, I have nothing left. Are you happy now? I study him. Grayson, you still don't get it. This was never about winning or losing. Then what is it about? It's about choices, I say. You chose to cheat. You chose to betray. You chose to wire away $47,000. You chose to believe Chloe. Those were all your choices. I only made you own them. Serena. Grayson. I meet his eyes. I truly loved you these 5 years. But you trampled every scrap of that love. I turn away. His voice drifts after me. Serena, if I hadn't cheated, would you have stayed with me? I pause. I would have, I answer. But there are no ifs. I climb into Olivia's car without looking back. Through the window I watch him standing on the courthouse steps until we disappear around the bend. I know this is the last time I'll ever see him. 10 After the divorce I moved back into my own place, the condo Eleanor had coveted for 5 years. Now it was indisputably mine. I packed every last item of Grayson's, set the boxes by the door, and shot him an iMessage: your stuff's outside, come get it whenever. He replied, I don't have the face to show up. Just trash it for me. I answered, fine. Then I hauled it all to the dumpster. That night I drank a bottle of red alone in the quiet rooms, replaying half a decade. 5 years ago Grayson and I hosted our wedding ceremony here. 4 years ago I miscarried here. 3 years ago I discovered his affair here. 2 years ago I started collecting evidence here. 1 year ago I waited for the perfect moment here. Now the curtain had fallen. I smiled. Serena, you're free. My phone rang. Mom. Serena, have you eaten? I have. Alone? Yeah. Want your dad and me to come keep you company? No need. I'm okay. Serena. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry for these 5 years. I should have stopped you from marrying Grayson. Mom, it's not your fault. I insisted. But I should have blocked you. You couldn't have, I said. Back then I was stupid enough to believe love could conquer everything. And now? Now? I gazed out the window. Now I know love can't conquer human nature. Serena. Mom, I honestly feel relieved. These 5 years exhausted me. Finally I can rest. I hung up and lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling. 5 years, what had I been doing? Clinging to a marriage with no future, wasting my youth on a man who never loved me, lying to myself inside a relationship built on deceit. Now it was over. I'm 29. Not too old to start again. Life after divorce turned out quieter than I expected. Work, home, repeat. Occasional dinners with Olivia, occasional meals at my parents'. No Grayson, no Eleanor, no Chloe, life simplified overnight. A month later Olivia introduced me to a guy. Name's Marcus, a partner at the firm. 35, divorced, no kids. Divorced? His ex cheated, he filed, Olivia said. Stand-up guy, just a tad dull. Then why set me up? Because you need someone decent. After Grayson, do you still want exciting but unreliable? I agreed. We met on a weekend. He was taller than I'd pictured, over 6 feet, glasses, measured speech. "You're Serena?" he asked. "Olivia told me your story." "What did she say?" "That you're brave. That you endured 3 years alone and finally left the bastard with nothing." "She oversold it." I simply refused to be shortchanged. "Refusing to be shortchanged is its own kind of bravery," he said. "Most people swallow their losses." I regarded him. "What about you? When your wife cheated, did you fight back?" "I did. I filed immediately. She wanted the house, I refused." "Why?" "It was Dad's house," he said. "She cheated, why should she keep my family home?" I laughed. "We're alike." "Think so?" He smiled. "Then we should get along." We talked for hours, about our marriages, life after divorce, plans for the future. He lived alone, worked, read at night. I lived alone, worked, stared at walls at night. He said, "How about we stare at walls together from now on?" I looked at him. "Marcus, are you courting me?" "Sort of, if you don't mind." "I don't," I said. "But I'm not ready for a new relationship yet." "I know," he answered. "I can wait." "How long?" "Till you're ready." I met his eyes, steady, unflinching. "All right," I said. "Let's start as friends." "Deal," he said. Friends. 1 year later. Marcus and I are together, not a whirlwind romance, but a gentle, day-by-day companionship. He picks me up after work, takes me shopping on weekends, brings me to his mother's for holidays. His mom is a kind elderly lady who squeezes my hand and says, "Honey, you've suffered." I say it was nothing. She replies, "I know what happened. That man was trash, you were right to leave." I laugh. "Auntie, it's all in the past. Best left there," she says. "Stay with my Marcus, he'll never wrong you." Back in the car I ask him, "So, what do you think?" "About what?" "Your mom." "She's great," I say. 10,000 times better than my ex-mother-in-law. He grins. "Obviously." That night we dine at a restaurant we frequent. As we sit, I spot a familiar figure, Grayson. He's in the corner with a bottle of wine, thinner, gray streaking his hair, looking 10 years older. Our eyes lock, he flinches, lowers his head, pretends not to see. Marcus follows my gaze. "Who's that?" "My ex-husband. Want to go somewhere else?" "No need." He doesn't affect my appetite. I eat in peace, Grayson keeps his eyes down. Afterward I run into him by the restroom. "Serena," he calls. I stop. "Something you need?" "No, just wanted to see you." I study him, hollowed cheeks, tired eyes. "How are you?" "Terrible," he says. "The bank called the compliance floor, I was laid off. Now I drive for Uber." "And Chloe?" "Gone. Turns out the baby wasn't mine." "Your mom?" "Hospital, stroke." I'm silent a beat. "Grayson, do you regret it?" He gives a bitter smile. "Does regret change anything?" "No. But I want to hear you say it." Tears glaze his eyes. "Serena, I regret it. I shouldn't have cheated, shouldn't have wired that money. Shouldn't have trusted Chloe. If I could do it over, I gaze at the man who once was my whole world, now just a down-and-out stranger. Grayson, some things, once missed, stay missed. You chose betrayal, own the price. You chose infidelity, pay the cost. They were all your decisions." I start to walk away, then pause at the door. "Grayson, I'll visit your mom in the hospital, not for you, but because I called her mom for 5 years. That's all." I step outside. Marcus is waiting. "What took you?" "Ran into an old ghost," I say. "We talked." "What did he say?" "That he regrets everything." "And you?" "Me?" I smile at him. "I don't regret a thing. Leaving him was the best decision I ever made." Marcus tightens his hand around mine. "And now, being with me? Another right choice?" I look at him. For a full year he has never let me down. "Yes," I answer. "Another right choice." The night is beautiful. We stroll down the street, fingers laced. Behind us the restaurant lights fade, and the man named Grayson fades with them. A brand new life is only just beginning. Thank you for listening. If you liked the story, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.